No, if you already submitted it, don't do it twice. You already done the regular way. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. So what do you do? What do you do when you have someone you want to quote on? I get this a lot from people. It's like, well, my buddy found out I was in insurance and he wants a quote and I don't know what to do. Or you get a lead and you book an appointment and it's like, okay, I got this mortgage protection lead. What do I do with this person? Okay. Now this is hopefully where you've got your, medical, medications they're taking or whatever. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what would I do? What would I do in evaluating what to show somebody? How would I run the rates on them? And then where do I go for underwriting tools to help me determine if that person can get in, right? And then where do I download the apps? If I can't do an e-app, where do I download the apps? So I'm going to try to cover this in the next half hour. We're going to bust it over. So if you got to take off, I understand. But we're recording this, so you'll get the gist of it. So I'm going to try and make it simple. So let's say you got someone, mortgage protection lead. Because the final expense leads are easy, man. In fact, let me start there. Let's start with the final expense lead. Okay, we'll start with the easy one because that's the easy one. So let's say, let's say we have a 70-year-old and a 68-year-old female. 68-year-old female, 70-year-old male. Okay, it's a final expense lead, right? And let's say the male has he's got 2 stents. Okay, within the last, he had a heart procedure with 2 stents. He's on a blood thinner. He's got diabetes, diagnosed 10 years ago. So like when he was 60. Okay, and he's got AFib, which AFib, man, I believe this is one of our guys' situation. Oh, good, he doesn't have AFib. That was someone else. Okay, whew, all right. Okay, and then the wife, the only thing she's dealing with is osteoarthritis. Was that? I'm sorry? Yeah, I'm kind of putting it down. Okay, so let's. Okay, this is a final expense lead, 70-year-old. He's got 2 stents within the last year, so it's within 1 year. So he's on blood thinners, diabetic, oral diabetes type 2. He's got AFib, okay? And then the woman has osteoarthritis, okay? And she's taking all the required medications. So what do I do with this couple? Okay, well, it's not, okay, I want to say it's simple, but, so what do I do? Okay, so let's go through. So I'm going to use my tools. So I'm going to go to alliancequoting.com, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do, so this is final expense. So they're looking for a burial type program, right? They're looking for something for burial. And so it's a lot more simple than if they were looking for, mortgage protection. So I'm going to go to my mortgage. This is alliancequoting.com. I'm going to go to final expense underwriting grid. Okay. So it's split out into 2 sections. There's Part A questions, which are the knockout questions, and Part B questions, which determine that if the client can get into this product, then we have an opportunity. Okay, so what are knockout questions? Okay, so the final expense is set up basically, let me open up an application. I'll use the CFG as but all of them kind of work the same way. So, so I'm going to go to the agent resources. I'm going to go to forms. I'm going to go to CFG, dignified choice whole life, Florida. Okay, so let's share this with y'all. I'm going to explain the knockout. And all the final expense apps work like this. Final expense is not meant to do fully underwritten blood and urine. Okay, so let me explain what that knockout. Basically, final expense underwrites itself. Okay, it kind of really underwrites itself because you just have to kind of really fill out the application. So let's go to the health applications on dignified choice. By the way, it looks like all these applications and products are going to be changing after the first of the year. There are new mortality tables that are coming out that are causing them to, readjust some things. So just kind of be careful as we go into the new year. Be alert, be cognizant that you'll get alerts on new applications. Okay, so part one. So this is CFG. Part one, if any question in this section is answered yes, do not submit the application. Okay. Part two, if any question in this section is answered yes, the proposed insurer will be considered for classic security graded benefit. So that's the 2-year graded benefit product. Part three, if any question in this section is answered yes, the proposed insured will be considered for classic advantage graded benefit. If 2 or more questions are answered yes, the proposed insured will be considered for classic security, which means security is the worst one of the 2 graded. There's advantage and security. And then the best one is elite and classic, I think. Anyway. Yeah, classic, no, not classic. Then part 4, if any question in the section is answered yes, the proposed insured will be considered for a classic select, full benefit plan. So it goes elite, select, advantage, and security. If 2 or more questions are answered yes, the proposed insured will be considered for classic advantage, graded benefit plan. If all questions are answered no, the proposed insured will be considered for classic elite. So you notice if they give you all no's, then they can get the best rated program. So that's CFG. Let's open up Forrester's and kind of compare to show you how Forrester's is very similar. Okay, so let's use the same state. This is Florida. They're all very similar. Okay, this is Forrester's. So they also have a Part A. Now notice Part A, if a yes answer in Part A, the proposed insured is not eligible for Forrester's plan right. Do not complete or submit this application, man. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Those of you who are Monopoly fans. Okay, Part B, complete all questions and circle the conditions to which the answer yes applies. And then the instructions down here, if yes, answer at the bottom, it says if a yes answer in Part B, select Forrester's plan right with modified death benefit in Section 4. If modified benefit. In Section 4, if all no answers, complete Part C. Okay, so if all no answers, then go to C, seek. If yes answer in Part C, select Forrester's plan right with graded death benefit in Section 4. If all no answers, select Forrester's plan right with level death benefit. Okay, what's Section 4? Section 4, you're telling them which one. Is it Forrester's plan right with level? Is it Forrester's Plan Right with graded, or is it Forrester's Plan Right with modified? Okay, so this is, modified is kind of like CFG's worst graded benefit plan in classic security. Graded death benefit is like for CFG's classic advantage graded. And then they've got only one level death benefit, whereas CFG has two. So CFG could be a little bit better, but the purpose of going through this is to show you that the application will underwrite the client and tell you what they're going to go into, what they're able to get into, okay? So, but let's go back to alliancequoting.com so we can take a look at, understand. So that's how you understand the final expense underwriting grid is Part A questions and then Part B questions. So pick a situation, any situation. So let's pick AFib on here, which I think is heart. Like if you don't see it, then it's okay. These are, okay, so diabetes, this guy's got diabetes. So classic choice says check Part B. So diabetes is going to be okay for them. Forrester's Plan Right. Look at Part B. So we're okay to write this on someone with diabetes. Well, at least we can go to Part B. Okay, Part B will determine, further. Mutual Omaha Living Promise. Decline if ever, insulin shock or diabetic coma only. So if they've suffered from these issues, okay, Transamerica Solutions, so this is where you can answer the Part A questions, okay? So a lot of them want you to go to Part B. I don't see AFib on here, unless it's under atrial fibrillation, Alzheimer's, amputation, cirrhosis, congestive heart failure. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so Part B questions. Let's look at diabetes. Okay, it says CFG Classic Choice, okay for Classic Advantage graded plan if have peripheral artery disease, PAD, or peripheral vascular disease, PVD, any complications, or if diabetes is not under control or used insulin prior to age 50. So it's very specific on what they're going to be able to do for them, whether it's graded or not. Forrester's Plan Right, if in the past 2 years, only complications of diabetes such as diabetic coma, insulin shock, retinopathy, neuropathy, nephropathy, modified, okay? Full or graded for Mutual Omaha Living Promise, Transamerican, and so on. So you can read through there to determine, what can we do for someone with diabetes. Now, let me see if the AFib's on here. Okay, AFib, atrial fibrillation. Okay, so it looks like diabetes is going to be okay for the 70-year-old, but he's got AFib, man. He's on a blood thinner. So AFib is probably the more significant issue. So classic choice depends on medications, check medication list. Okay, the medications, what's he taking for the AFib? Okay, Plan Right. And how you check for the medications is you would dial it in to the medication list on the app, right? I'll show you that, but Forrester's Plan Right. If over 2 years, okay for level, otherwise graded or decline if it's under 2 years, if they're dealing with AFib. Mutual Omaha Living Promise, call underwriting. So AFib's like a big deal. Okay, AFib's a bigger deal. Transamerica, 0 to 44, within 2 years, decline, 2.5 years. Let's go to 45, 85, which you're going to more likely run into. The past 2 years, including regular heart rhythm, standard. So Transamerica is starting to look good. Transamerica is starting to look better for this guy with AFib if he's had it in the last 2 years. So now I'm thinking I might lean towards Transamerica. Okay, I might lean towards Transamerica. So that kind of gives me pause to think, Transamerica might be where it's at for this guy to get something issued. Even though Transamerica is a paper application only, that might be what we need to do, okay? So let's look at osteoarthritis for her. Okay. So osteo, let's say we find arthritis. Huh. Okay, I don't see arthritis, so I think arthritis is probably okay for her. Okay. So after reading all this, and after maybe calling underwriting to get a feel, guys on bloods, 2 stents, blood thinners, diabetes, okay. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check and just to kind of prep you, hey, Jonah, can you give me find a medication online that treats AFib so I can plug it into CFG, please? Whatever medication treats AFib, so I'm going to plug it in. So another thing to do would be check CFG. So I pick up the CFG final expense. Okay, so I'm going to put this guy's age in there. He's 70. Male. Let's say he's 5'8", 217. He's consulted a doctor. Then I'm going to click next. Okay, so I'm going to type in the medications. So, so we've got, let's say he's on metformin for diabetes. Okay, so it looks like all the bottom are green. Oh, we can put in like losartan for blood pressure. Okay, let's just say he's on that, still green. So the real determining factor, what is he taking for the stents? So the stents, let's say he's taking, it's Persert, P-R-U. Crap, what is that? Let's just say warfarin. Say he's taking warfarin for his stents. Okay, he didn't have a stroke or heart attack. Okay. Okay, so it's really going to depend on the AFib medication. Do you have an AFib medication yet? How do you spell that? That's for AFib? Okay. Okay. 2 for atrial fibrillation, yes. Done. All right. Well, this isn't as bad. So again, dependent on the medication, looks like he can at least get select. So that's kind of a surprise. That kind of surprised me. So, you know, maybe it's either Transamerica or CFG. You know, he's treating AFib, he's got diabetes, and he's taking a blood thinner. We picked off all those medications, and it looks like it could get select, which is pretty cool. So maybe I'm going to compare select for him with Transamerica, all right? So I'm going to be looking at CFG select for him, and then I'm going to look at Transamerica. I think it was level. The way they described it, Transamerica was level, standard, right? I think Transamerica was standard, right? So let's go ahead and look at, so let's try CFG, select. Okay, he's age 70. Let's do just 10,000. Okay, monthly EFT, non-tobacco, no accidental death, no children's rider. So we got 10,000 for this dude. All right. And he is at 103.57 a month. Okay. So while I'm at it, I'm going to do his wife, who is 68. Okay. And what's the medication for osteo? So wife is 68. Female, say 5'2", 155. Osteoarthritis medication. Anyone got anything for osteo? Anyone who's got osteo can give me a medication.
It looks like the treatments, the medications listed is just like vitamins, dietary supplements, antacids, hormones, no really medications for that.
For osteo? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well,
Actually, I do have one if you want one. Maybe
yes.
Fosamax, Fosamax.
There it is. Let's go plus D. I don't know what that means. Okay, it's still all green. Rock on. So let's choose Elite. She's 68. Let's do her at 10,000. Non-tobacco. So she's at 48.47. By the way, I'm not doing this in front of them. I'm kind of doing it because I know their medications. I'm doing this before I walk in, so I got a game plan. Okay, so now let's look at Transamerica. No, that's not the right one. No, that's not the right one. I think it is this one. Okay, so we're in, I guess it doesn't matter. Let's say Florida. Doesn't matter. Okay, male, non-tobacco, he's 70. Plan assurance is standard. Face amount is 10,000. By the way, Transamerica is a pain in the butt, gang. They do paper apps, but they're a pain in the butt. They're coming out with e-apps here, supposedly, next year, but I mean, sometimes you have to do it and you have no choice because they're the best one, but just be prepared. So he's at 104.70. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm not exactly shopping. Okay. I want to know which company I feel better about that he's going to get issued. I'm just looking at general rates, but I'm not going to show them, well, I showed you Transamerica and CFG is $1 cheaper. It's like, I don't do that. I try to find which one I feel comfortable that they're going to get into, right? So let's do female, non-tobacco. She's 68. Whoops. And I believe she's probably going to get preferred, I believe. So 10,000, no accidental. Okay, so she's 49. It's interesting. They're all similar. Okay, so this is what we got. So we have 10,000. After looking at the underwriting grids, he's at 103.57 with CFG or 104.70 with Transamerica. She's at 48.47 with CFG or 49. So now what I'm gonna do is figure out which one can I really get them covered with, and if they're truthful about their medications, I'm gonna maybe do CFG. Not because they're cheaper, but if they're truthful on their medications, I think we can get them into CFG. The other thing is, if something goes awry with CFG, you have a chance to overturn it with CFG. That's why a lot of people like CFG. Transamerica, tougher to work with, more difficult in getting it done. Okay. Okay, so then what am I going to do? I'm going to show them. So I decided I'm going to show them CFG. So I'm going to show them, let's say that they make middle class income. I'm just going to go 10,000, 7,500, and 5,000. And I'm going to show for him first, and I want them to decide on him first, and then I'm going to show her next. And let's say they pick this one, okay? And then, so I'll do an EAP on it, okay? So the EAP, where I would go, I would go to, it was on here, man. Oh, okay. Okay, so just like I showed you in the boot camp, if you've been on boot camp since June, I'm going to go to the NALease.com website. I'm going to log in. I'm going to do this tonight at our boot camp. So this will be good practice. I really can do this with my eyes closed. Then I'm going to the final expense EAP. I'm going to put my PIN number. I'm going to get into the EAP, okay? That's what I'm going to do. But let's say you don't have access to the EAP. The website's messed up. I don't know. You can't get online. So how do I download these apps? So I'm going to download these apps. I'm still here at the Columbian Financial Group page. I'm going to go to CFG, Dignified Choice, Final Expense, Apps, Forms, and Info, okay? So let me walk you through this. You can also order these apps on this same website, okay? So let's pick a state, any state. Let's pick Florida. Click Next. Okay, now this is a little overwhelming. Look at all the things you can download. It's like, oh my gosh, Alex, what am I going to do? Okay, so what I would recommend you doing is I would recommend you going to the new business checklist. Oh, that's right, they may not have it here. Application, so that's the application. There should be a new business checklist. And the new business checklist is where, there it is. I would open this up, okay? And this tells me what applications do I need to write someone on this particular product. You will always be good with the new business checklist. Okay, so you see this new business checklist. Oh, wow, it's new. The new business checklist is new. Okay, so let's copy this down. The application, submit the applicable forms. So I need form A644B-CL. If I'm doing the children's term insurance rider, I need form A640FL-CL. This is really cool. I need the replacement form, form number 1500 CFG. I need the comparative form. This is only if they want comparative information, 1501 CFG. So this is, you fill this out if they indicate on the replace form that he or she wants comparative information. Typically they won't, but if they do, now this could be different in your state. Your state, if you're not in Florida, this could be a different one. Initial premium payment. So this gives you instructions. If the initial premium payment is being submitted with the application, submit a personal check, cashier's check, or money order from the applicant made payable to Columbian Life Insurance Company. Premium will be paid by bank draft, include a voided check or deposit slip if available. So it'd be nice to have it. If they don't have it, don't freak out. You don't absolutely need it. It's just if it's available, okay? So I go back and I look at the forms and I look for A644B. A644B. So I'm going to click on that to download it. Okay, so notice it's downloading. I need A640FL. A640FL, Children's Insurance Rider. if they need the children's rider. I need 1,500 CFG. So let's look on the left. Come on, man. Like I said, 1,500 CFG. Okay, chances are you probably won't need it, but you may. And then 1,501, there you go. Okay, so now that I've chosen those, then I can print them out because they're in my download folder, those 4 forms. Okay, then I read through. So those are what I need. I might read through to see if there are any other forms that may be required. Chances are not. Okay, but all the other stuff's in here. Okay, so now the question is, how do I order these? So CFG, okay. There's a supply order form on here, I bet. So let's just look up title, supply. Supply order form. Okay, notice when you open it up, it's a faxable form. So now you know what minimal you need to write a client up. So you know you need the base app, child writer. I might just freaking choose all of them, at least one. But the ones I know I need, I'm going to have a whole bunch, 25, 50, whatever. Okay, submit by email. So you can fill it out, save it on your computer, and then submit it by email to supply orders at cfglife.com. So is that cool? You can save this and then submit it. Requested by, ship to. Bam! Now you know how to order these. Okay, do you see how simple that is? Okay, so, you know, so I'm done with them, all right? So does that make sense? So when I do, okay, let's show you Foresters. So if I wanted to do Foresters plan write on them, let's say Foresters plan write happened to be really good. Let me show you how to do Foresters. It's a little bit, it's different. So let's just go through the process. So unfortunately with Foresters, you have to visit their agent's site. Okay, so you got to click on visit agent sites. This assuming that you've access into their site, EasyBiz site. Okay, I'm sorry, this is taking longer than, but I hope this is helping, okay? Then you go to forms and brochures. I talked to Carlos on this yesterday, and I thought, you know, I really need to do this because I had other people. So this is the iPipeline version of downloading apps. The other carriers like Mutual of Omaha uses the same functionality. So let me show you what you got to choose. So the form type for applications is new business. Okay, let's pick your state. Let's pick Georgia. Georgia. Okay, whole life. Now notice you can pick term, universal life, or whole life. Then the product name is PlanWrite. You can do Advantage Plus too, but let's just choose PlanWrite because it's the whole life. We're in the whole life theme. Okay, and let's do search. So what it comes up with is a little bit more directed because notice the yellow highlighted ones are the ones that you probably ought to download for an application. So notice application is this one. The Life Insurance Buyer's Guide, I would download that. I wouldn't print that out because that's like 60 pages long. But what I would do is I would email it to the client. Like I'd have it with me. And then when I'm done with the client, I'm going to email it to them right there and then, the electronic version of it. Okay, I'm not going to print it out. Okay, you can order it and then leave a hard copy, but I'm digital, man. I like to keep as much digital as possible. The medical reference guide is just more of an underwriting guide for you. So you might want to download it and just keep it digitally, but you know, maybe you order it, but you don't need that to write an app, okay? But they're recommending that these are things that you ought to have with you. Important notice, replacement forms are mandatory. So it's a replacement form. And then understanding life insurance brochure. not mandatory, okay? Now, how do you know what's mandatory? Well, they don't have a new business checklist, I don't believe. Okay, now replacement forms. These are the replacement form requirements. So this will give you a clue as to what replacement forms. Chances are your required replacement forms have already been highlighted in yellow. Contingent owner, application for reinstatement, plan right rate book, plan right premium rate table. So they don't really have, per se, a new business checklist, but all you got to do is read the app. So let's open up the app and read the requirements on the app, right? You know, when all this fails, we used to say, I'm not going to say it, read the application. I was going to say read the manual. We have another word for that. Okay, so that's funny how agents they skip over the instruction page, the first page of the app. Tips for submitting Forrester's application. This checklist, so the checklist is right on the first page of the app. What a concept. Things you need to know, how to avoid delays, right? So read all this stuff, and that should tell you what you need. Money orders are not permitted, or cashier's checks are not permitted. So notice right away there's a difference with CFG and Forrester's. CFG will allow you to take those instruments of payment. Forrester's will not, are not permitted for payment of initial premiums. Do not use whiteout. Cash is not permitted for payment of premiums, which is similar to money orders and cashier's checks. He can't just give you like $215.55 in cash. Producers can make premium payments, completion of the phone interview. So remember, Plan Right requires a phone interview. This tells you when you can do it and the phone number. Okay, so it's all here. It's all in the initial application. Okay, does that make sense, gang? So let's go back to the order. And notice you've got these highlighted. So you can, let's add some more just for fun. Military personnel, notice to military. So let's say you're writing a military member. So you need that one. Okay, and then let's order them. So you can order documents here. So you can print them out. Okay, but let's order them. Okay, to order them, I think I have to choose them. Whoops. I thought I did. Okay, I did put them in. Okay, order documents. Oh man, help me here. I did add them. Oh, I'm sorry. This little, oh, okay. Shows you how much I do this, right? So the little green cart, you got to click on that to add it, add it, add it. Whoops. Add to order, add to order. And let's do the military. Notice the military member. I'm going to add it. Wow, there's no way to add the order. Maybe I did that. Oh, that may not be one you can order. It's one of those you got to print it out deals. Okay, so click on order documents. Okay, order forms. So click on order. Then quantities. So you can put your quantities, you can put all your information, then click on order. Bam, got that done. Okay, you sort of getting the gist. Let's say Transamerica is only forms. So let's show you how to do Transamerica because they only do forms. So Transamerica. Paper app forms. Okay, Transamerica apps forms and info. So click on Transamerica apps forms and info from the carrier page. Then you go to forms here on the side where it says forms. Click on forms. Okay, and then we want to go to Form Search. This button right here. So service category, you want to choose New Business, Underwriting, Product Type, Final Expense, and state, let's choose Florida. And then click on the search button. Okay, so you've got all the kind of packaged by the click button there. What's packaged in. Then you have all the supplemental forms. So these have all the alcohol questionnaire, arthritis application, cysts, diabetes, etc. I'd recommend downloading all those so you'd have all the supplemental forms on your computer. It doesn't matter what state. But just the basic apps, there are two different applications, one for age 0 to 44 and then one for 45 to 85. Okay, so let's just do two separate downloads. Let's do the 45 to 85 because that's the most popular one. So I'm going to only check those that apply. So what applies for 45 to 85 is the application for the issue ages 45 to 85. Beneficiary additional insured information form is required. HIP authorization is required. The cover sheet, so keep that one checked for 45 to 85. I'll uncheck the other one for 0 to 44. Military sales practice disclosure. So if you're writing on an active duty military, then you would need to fill this one out. But since most people are not in the 45 to 85 range, then I'll uncheck that one. The schedule for Social Security benefit payments, I would do that. And the Social Security billing authorization form. So this form is for if they want to pay through their Social Security debit card. So, which some seniors have a Social Security debit card, they can use that to make their payments. So you would need these two forms for that. So let's just for safety's sake, let's just download what we have checked here. So let's download the application. Okay, and then we're going to save this. And we're going to rename it like we always do. We're going to call this Transamerica Final Expense for FE Final Expense App Florida. Okay. So I'll hit the save. Okay, the next one is the beneficiary form. That's called the beneficiary form. So this is what you have to do to designate the beneficiary. Most agents forget this form, and it's a real pain because you have to go get it filled out. So TA for Transamerica beneficiary form. And the reason I don't put Florida is that this applies to all the states. So let's save that. The next one's the HIP authorization. Same thing with this one. This applies to all the states. So we'll call this TA HIPAA. Save. And cover sheet. Issue ages 45 to 85. So put this TA cover 45 85. Save. Then this is also generic one. So Social Security benefit calendar.
Some salami on yours?
So TA.
Yeah, it's ready. Nick!
And then final one, the Social Security billing authorization form. So TA S Social Security auth. All right, there you go. So that is it. Obviously, if you're doing the 0 to 44, you would just choose the forms with 0 to 44, which would be the application, all the same forms, the cover sheet for 0 to 44. Those are really the only two differences. And you probably wouldn't, obviously, 0 to 44, you wouldn't do the Social Security benefits. So, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, we're done. Rock on. I'm going to show you a tool that really is great. This will give you an idea. These are like having all the product guides. It's called the Product Pocket Guide down here at alliancequoting.com. And this is mortgage term. So click on mortgage term. And then let's look at CFG versus Foresters on age. Now notice on CFG, the age restrictions, 15-year term for ages 18 through 65, 20 years for 18 through 60. These are the return of premium. 30 years is 18 through 55. So this guy's 70. If he wanted a mortgage term product, assuming his health would allow him, if you go to Foresters, it's got 10-year ages 18 through 80, 15 years 18 through 70. So this guy, we can do possibly a mortgage term product, Forester Strong Foundation. Okay, so now let's talk about, does this make sense to do that? So let's go and calculate rates for grins and see what we're dealing with a guy like this. So I'm going to choose Strong Foundation. And his nearest age, okay, so non-medical, says Florida. His nearest age, okay, that's why you put date of birth, because they do age nearest. And he could be 71. But let's just keep him at 70 because he's the nearest age 70, okay? He's male, okay? Non-tobacco. Now this is assuming he can get into it. Let's say his health, he's on high blood pressure medications, he's on diabetes medications, and he's on cholesterol medications. He can get into it. So this is a $250,000 mortgage. So let's get a quote on the 70-year-old for a 15-year term, or for a term. Notice the max, okay, the 250,000, the max rate is 20,000 to 150, 15 years, 20, so I have to go back and I got to do 150. That's the most I can get this guy. Remember, this is only going to let you do what you can do, 150. And if I go back to the product pocket guide, I'm sure it says the max. Actually, it does not say the max for that age. So we do know that there's a max for that age by just going to the. Okay, so notice 10-year for 150 is 446.12, 15 years is 618.19. Now look, if you can get into it, might be a good idea, might not be a good idea, okay? But I'm not down with showing someone 15-year term at 618.19, okay? I mean, I might even just drop it down. If they're really wanting a term, I could drop it down to a smaller amount, let's say 75,000. I mean, again, if they really want a larger amount of insurance, because the alternative is doing mortgage payment protection with the whole life, and the whole life has limitations as to the maximum amount we can get them. So if he's down with 75,000, he's going to be paying roughly half. So for a 10-year term, it's 225.68. 15-year term, 311.72. Are they going to want to do that at their age on a fixed income? Maybe, maybe not. But at least you have somewhere to go with the term, okay? But he could outlive it. He potentially could outlive it. So my point here, gang, is that I'm going to look at options and see what makes sense. I'm going to run both options, the term, and I'm going to run a whole life, okay? So okay, so I know for sure he's not going to get the term because of his problems. Let's say he only has diabetes, okay, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, okay, then it's a possibility I can do the term. I don't know if I want to do it, but I'm going to look at maybe some term options. Then I'm going to look at whole life mortgage payment protection, which will cover numbers of mortgage payments, okay? And I like the whole life because it's permanent. They're going to get the value. He could outlive the term, all right? So I might just run it just to see what it would be, but then I definitely do a mortgage payment protection. So maybe I'm doing, 18 months, 12 months, and 6 months, or 24 months, 18 months, and 6 months of mortgage payments. And so I'm going to run these rates beforehand, and then I know kind of where I might go with it. And then I'm going to go back again to the tools, the underwriting tools. Oh man, this is not a simple thing to just convey. But the underwriting tools are where it's at. So I'm going to go back to my mortgage protection underwriting grid. And then I'm going to look at what can this person get. So let's go. She's got arthritis. May not be on here. I think they're, okay, maybe arthritis is good. Like she's okay with the arthritis. Okay. So now here's, okay, so the game plan here is I'm going to run some term rates if I think I can get them into term, and to show you, and so you to know why it's like kind of insane to show them term. And then I'm going to do mortgage payment protection, especially their mortgage is really big. Because some of these folks think this mortgage protection was like when they were young, right? When they were paying $10 a month as part of the mortgage payment, and it was called mortgage cancellation insurance. And they're, for the first time, like they haven't refinanced their house in like 50 years. Now they think it's the same $5 a month program. And you got to wake them up, man. You got to wake them up. So here's kind of the flow chart of underwriting. Someone says, hey, can you run me a quote? Okay, well, what do I need? So I need their vitals. So I need their vitals. What are their vitals? Date of birth, height and weight, smoking status. Okay. I need to know medications, any overnight stays at a hospital, which indicates surgeries, like bypass or heart problems. Okay. This is like the minimum that I can really do a good job at preparing. If I don't get this stuff, then I'm going to have to prepare whole life rates and mortgage protection rates. And then when I sit down with them, that's where I'm going to use all those underwriting tools, okay? But if I have their vitals, okay, so one, get their vitals. Number two, I'm going to Alliance quoting.com, okay? And I'm going to go to, okay, so whatever, I'm going to go either to the final expense underwriting grid, or I'm going to go to the mortgage term underwriting grid to see what their situation is going to do. And then another thing I might do from, if it's final expense, is I'll run it through the CFG medication thing on their app. Because if CFG says based on their medications they can only get graded or they can get level, then probably can be the same with the other carriers. They're all very similar in how they handle medications. So this is sort of another backup where I can kind of get a feel. And then the backup again is how they fill out the application. How they fill out the app will really determine what I'm dealing with. So I got to be prepared to almost really fill out the app while I'm talking to them. I'm asking those questions so I know kind of where they're at. So alliancequoting.com tells me what from a, what product might fit. Also, the other thing is type of lead. will also determine type of lead. Okay, is the lead a final expense lead, or is it a mortgage lead, or is it a general insurance lead? Okay, obviously final expense is easy because I'm going to look at final expense, or I'm going to look at universal life. If their health is better, I might even do a universal life on them. Mortgage lead, I'm going to look at term if it's feasible based on their health, but then I might default to final expense or guaranteed issue. Okay, and then maybe UL too. Okay, general insurance, it could be anything. Term, whole life, universal life. The type of lead will also kind of vector me into what I'm going to deal with. So I go to the alliancequoting.com, then number 4, I'm going to run the rates on my phone using their apps. Okay, so I'm going to run rates. I'm going to get just a general feel. I'm going to write them in little crib notes on the lead so I get a feel for kind of magnitude of cost, all right? And then when all is said, the other alternative is to call underwriting for underwriting risk assessment. Okay, that when all else fails, this is probably the best way to get a really good feel. If you've got all this information, call underwriting risk, and they're going to guide you. They're going to teach you about underwriting. Okay. Then number 6, download and order apps. Download and print. Okay, I can write. Download and order your apps on the website. Okay, order them, print them out, whatever you got to do. Then you're ready to rock and roll. And then, practice getting in the e-app if you have an e-app for it. Do it before you go. Okay, and this is really, now, after all is said and done, call us and we're going to guide you through this process because I'm going to do exactly this for you. So when you call me, Alex, I got this guy that's got blah, 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 blah. I'm going to do this. I'm going to assess the vitals. Then I'm going to go to alliancequoting.com, look at the underwriting grid. Like, honestly, that's what I would do. I'm doing for you what I'm teaching you to do. What type of lead is it? Remember, I always ask, what type of lead is it? And then I'm going to kind of play around with rates. I might even call underwriting risk assessment to get a better feel of what we're dealing with. Then this is what you do. Download, order the apps, and then practice getting in the e-app. This is it. This is what you do over and over. And you're going to get better and better as you get more experience what to do when you're in front of the client. And you may not know any of this information. Okay? But this is why you call us from the home, because we're going to go through this whole process with you. Okay, does this make sense, gang? I'm going to unmute, see if anyone's got any questions. Anyone got any questions? Okay, I guess not. Okay, I didn't mean for this to take this long, but you know what? It had to take this long. And I will figure out the Transamerica thing, man. I think I do have a video on how to download Transamerica apps. They're pretty simple too. So I'll get you that. But there you go, man. That's it. We are done. Rock on, fired up. Thanks, guys, for plugging in. Get on the leaderboard next week. Please. Come on, it's Tuesday. You've got the rest of the week. Get on the leaderboard for next week, man. I want to see your face on the leaderboard. Let's make it a focus. Can everyone get on the leaderboard, man? Rock on. God bless. Take care, buddy. We'll see you.